Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shanti Mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadidamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. Atha Katopanishad Pratamodhyaye Pratama VALLIः Mantra 3. Pito daga jagdatruna dugdha doha nirindriyaha anandanamate lokastansa gacchati tadadat. The gist of the mantra in verse form. Cows that were barren, drunken, eaten last is evident, or being gifted away was so apparent. Passing away such benefaction would result on a board, a bottomless pit, an underworld, and a limbo. Now, let us look at the gist of the mantra. Barren were the cows being gifted away, which seemed also dehydrated and drained. They seemed to have eaten the last leaf of a grass. They looked pathetic. Such a gift would fail to get the results aimed at, but would also result in the donor being thrown into the nether world, that is akin to a bottomless pit, where there will be no joy at all. Now let us go to the brief explanation of the mantra. When the gifts were being carried to the Yajnashala to be given away by Vajrasattva's, Nachiketas, a studious boy endowed with Vedic knowledge, he observed the proceedings and was caught up with a thought. The scripture has recommended standard quality for the gifts to be given away, but Father is not following the rules. What made this boy think like that? Bhashyakara says it was due to the concern that this act of disobedience by his father would leave him into the nether world. A person performing this kind of act would get into the world of a joyless world devoid of happiness, says the scriptures. So he was worried. Let us look at let us have a brief idea of this Visvajityaga. According to Amarkosha, Sarva Vedaha Saneshthayagaha Sarvasva Dakshina. The Shastras say that a person who has attained Vairagyam gives away everything without having any bond and leaves for sannyasa ashram. Nachiketas observed his father was engrossed with haste and greed in the attainment of the fruit of the yajna. Nachiketas had an incumbent Shastra Jnana about the strict adherence to the recommended quality of gifts being given away, and filled with urge, Nachiketas wanted to go and approach his father with a polite way of desisting his father in resorting to such an act of degrading the quality of the gifts and get himself into futility of yajna. So he, prompted by the genuine desire with an implied intention to do good to his father, Nachiketas approached him. Mantra 4. Sahovacha pitaram tat kasmai mam dasyatiti Dvitiyam Tritiyam tam hovacha Nrityavetva dadaniti. The gist of the mantra in verse 4. A question from the son to the father was, to whom will thy give me? Indifferent was his father that prompted to be asked him 3 times, a question to which the answer was, to death will I give thee. Now just of the mantra. Vajrasattva was conducting a ritual in which he was giving away his belongings as dakshina. Looking at the poor condition of the gifts that were being given away by his father, Nachiketas was prompted to ask him what was going to be the treatment and method of the disposal in case of Nachiketas, his son, who is also a possession of Vajastravas. When Vajastravas was in the process of giving away all that he had as his belongings, Nachiketas approached him and put forth his question, "To whom will they give me?" Once, twice, and thrice. His father was indifferent. Suddenly provoked, Vajastravasa replied in surge that he would give him, his son, to death. "To death will I give thee," was the spontaneous reply. Nachiketas, in impulsivity, approached his father and asked him, "To whom will you give me?" His father mechanically and instantly, without even thinking for a moment, said, "To death will I give you." So now let us look at the brief explanation for this mantra. Nachiketas happened to closely watch the acts that were going on in Yajnashala. He contemplated. He was provoked by a thought, a concern towards his father. A son who is expected to be obedient and under the commands of his father could not put a suggestion directly in an active manner. He chose to be passive and took a stand in asking his father how he is preparing himself to deal with his son. A son in a Hindu undivided family forms a part of the inventory, and we may say a property. So the meaning of the property in an intrinsic manner is said to be a claim over it. When we say that he has a landed property, it means that he has a claim over it. And Nachiketas too, embraced by the understanding, took him to be a property that needs to be appropriated by his father during the fire ceremony towards the charity. But the reply by his father, which would be repented upon later, but of no avail. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha.